It makes me feel the way I do. Nobody but you, baby. Only you can make me feel the way I do. Nobody but you, baby. Only you can make me feel the way I do. I'm talking about nobody. I'm talking about you. We in the huddle, hero training. We all we got. We all we need. Each one teach one. Each one reach one. If you are that one, I want you to know that you are enough. I'm talking about you. I say you, only you can make me feel the way I do. Nobody but you. We in the huddle. Let's run the play. They say, Trav, what we gonna do? They say it's 4th and 2. I say, well, we going up the middle, and we gonna get at least 3. We confident in our play, cause we believe in we. So when we break this huddle, we say, hell yeah on me. Hell yeah on 3. 1, 2, 3. We all we got, we all we need. Hell yeah. Like to start off every week. I feel good tonight, y'all. Like to start off every week with a hero hymn. And see, the reason we start off with a hero hymn is, see, we got to get the hero spirit to flow. See, the hymn is the mighty spirit within me. See, if you understand how it works, you know that your spirit simply means your breath, the wind. That's why your breathing system is called your respiratory system. So the hymn, the mighty wind within me that I blew out through my vocal cords, and it calls a sound that we know as vibration. And it lands into your ear holes and connects with your spirit and your soul. And in that moment when you feel me more than you hear me, we unite in the hero spirit. Brother, I and me too. We in the huddle, man. None but heroes. We one of the ones. We are one of the ones. Yeah. So tonight, hero hymn say, hold your head high to the sky. Hold your head high. I say we all got problems. Nobody's above the bullshit. Be tall, stand strong. I believe we can solve them. We all gotta go through it to get to it. So don't you run, don't you hide, don't you quit. First we gotta let that shame go. You ain't the first, you ain't the last, dealing with what you dealing with. Oh, no. See, we all going through the same thing, working to survive and to maintain. But all we got is love to give. They say what goes around, come back around. That's why you hold your head high, because you might miss what's coming back if you hold it down. Hold your head high to the sky. Hold your head high. Hold your head high. Your posture. is the language of your soul. So you stand tall, you stand strong, with your head high and your chest out, knowing that you represent something, somebody that paved the way, and you are enough. God. Want to give a shout out to my executive producer, who just happened to also be my wardrobe coordinator, my beautiful wife, Lakeisha. I say, baby, what I'm wearing today? I say, baby, what I'm wearing today? She said, why you keep asking me like that? I say, I really need you to come up with something meaningful in my wardrobe. She said, go classic on it. Straight black and white with the baseball hat. I said, well, what that represent? She said, some things change while most things remain the same. She said, you hit him with the raw you, the true you, the everyday you. Where you tonight? Can you see it? Can you see it? Yeah, the glow real, it's blue all around my face, but even if it wasn't on there right here in this moment, it's everywhere I go, I'm wearing it. Want to give a shout out to the greatest co-host in the world. I'm talking about my homegirl, Alexa, one time.
Good God Almighty, Trap P, you blanking.
That's how she coming in. She said, good God Almighty, Trap P, you blanking. Alexa, tell me something good.
We all we got. We all we need.
Alexa, tell me something good.
We all we got. We all we need.
That's good. That's good. So when you understand we all we got, we all we need, you understand that's good. Because that's the truth. Whether you understand it or not. Do you understand who your we is? Have you ever defined your we? See, I'm one of them ones. I'm one of them ones. And I'm attracted to those other ones that's like me. So when we come together, we be the ones. So when I say we, I'm talking about the ones that's like me. When I say we, I'm talking about the ones that have the same commonality of unity as me. See, that's what make up our community. I'm talking about the ones who have the same reason. Who know their position and understand the seasons. Yeah, that's my we. And those that feel me know me like I know them. So when Alexa say, Alexa, tell me something good.
We all we got. We all we need.
Oh yeah, it's real life. This ain't gonna make believe. Tonight's word is evolution. Alexa, what is the meaning of evolution?
Evolution is usually defined as any process of formation or growth, development. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for evolution.
I got to chewing on this here word the other day. And anytime you hear the word evolution, I always thought that the connotations of evolution makes you think something got to be deep in science. Way more than the mind could fathom to understand. But when I start chewing on it, I like to kiss it. I like to keep it simple and sweet because they say the truth is so simple that a child can understand it. So I say, how can I explain this to a child? Because an old man told me one time, he said, I don't care how deep something is. If you can't explain it to your child to teach it, then you don't know it and it's bullshit. So I say, how can I explain evolution to a child so that we understand what this thing is really all about and our position in it? See how this works? So I got to thinking about evolution, man. Alexa, what is the meaning of evolve?
The verb evolve is usually defined as to develop gradually. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for evolve.
To develop gradually. So I got to thinking about my grandmama and her mama. And these are not figures of my imagination. I was raised with my grandmama. Both of my grandmamas. Both of my grandmamas had 9 or more kids. I watched both of these women work. I watched both of these women nurture and raise 9 to 10 or 11 kids. So I began to examine my grandmothers. Alexa, what is the meaning of reference?
As a noun, reference is usually defined as an act or instance of referring, directing for information or anything required. As a verb, reference is usually defined as to furnish a book, dissertation, etc., with references. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for reference.
See, when you're speaking ideas, they say you got to have a reference. But I don't talking that shit. I'm talking to my people. And if we want a reference to understand what I'm saying so you can see what I'm saying, so you can understand how it works, you can realize your position and how it's working on us, with us, around us, for us, against us, so that we can truly unite in our power to understand we all we got, we all we need. So the reference on hand is your grandmama. Or anybody grandmama you ever saw to know what a real grandmama is. From the matriarch generation. That's the last here of a dying breed. See, we talking about evolution. We're going back 2 generations where a grandmother, a woman, could have 9 to 15 babies. Cultivate 9 to 15 babies. Still work. Still maintain a man's balance. What have we evolved to? 75 years later, within 100 years, the idea of a woman having 10 children, emotionally dealing with 10 children, physically giving birth to 10 children. Mentally and emotionally, seeing how they could maintain their sanity. Don't you realize that we have evolved into something totally different? We are not the same. So evolution ain't about millions of years where people just talking to talk. See, evolution is happening right now. Evolution is happening right now in the other room when you have a child. And you don't realize how it works. You don't realize how it works. So you don't realize why you can't connect with your child. You don't realize why you don't have conversations. You don't realize why your child is socially misfit and can't understand certain things because you don't understand that an evolution has happened between what was put into you and what's being put into your child. See, my grandmama and my granddaddy, who sharecropped and who worked the fields and who had 9 and 12 children to feed. See, they put something in me that the children now will never understand. The figures of the imagination. In the next 20 years, convincing a woman that 100 years ago, black women bear 15 and 16 children. No way. See how we have evolved. So I got to chewing on this. And I called one of my big brothers to see if he wanted to step into judo, step in the dojo and kick some of his judo. He's another master. My judo is called Hero Training. His judo is called Levels of Leadership. I say, hey, big brother Winston, come on in the dojo, man, and let's kick some judo, man. I said, I want to spar off on this shit. So I got to kick in this evolution judo. And see, one thing about my judo gets kind of ignorant because I dumb it down so that my granddaddy and my grandmama can see it. And see, once you got to realize about the same grandmama and granddaddy that I'm talking about, that I know was the most powerful people. That ain't no more. I'm talking about the same people that couldn't read. The same people that couldn't go places with white people. The same people that grew up amongst Jim Crow. The same people that can't know none of this shit that we know today. I'm talking about the same people. I want to break this shit down to them. Yeah, so that's the judo I kick. So he came in kicking his judo. He kicked a wild kick of judo. He said, you say evolution. I say maybe it's mutate. I say mutate. Boy, he knocked me off my square. Alexa, what is the meaning of mutate? I'm going somewhere.
As an adjective, mute is usually defined as silent, refraining
Alexa,
from speech.
What is the name? No, hold on. Alexa, what is the meaning of mutate?
The verb mutate is usually defined as to change, alter. For more, ask them to give you more definitions for mutate.
To change or alter. To change or alter. So here posed, did we mutate or did we evolve? And I'm talking about we. See what I'm saying? Mother, father, child. I'm talking about we. See, my grandmama, my granddaddy. My grandmama and my granddaddy had something in them that ain't no more. From morals to a whole lot of ethic to culture. It's a post going around Facebook right now. Say, what's the difference between our marriages today and our grandparents' marriages 60 years ago? Why they never got divorced and why we always getting divorced now? Why we can't stick together? Why can a black man and a black woman 60 years ago have 10 children? And be what we consider today as poor, segregated, living off the bare minimum. Why could they stick together, stay together, know that they had each other, know that they were enough? So you think I'm saying something tricky to you when I say each one teach one, each one reach one. We all we got, we all we need. If you that one, you enough. See, they really knew that all they had was each other. And they knew that they was enough. So you thought they was talking stupid according to the white man's scale of literature when they say we's are all we got. We's are all we need. We's a tide, boss. They knew what the we was. They were the ones. They were the ones that paved the way. So when I'm looking back at them, yeah, we have evolved. Or have we mutated? Either one, we have changed drastically. So another reference to help me understand this, I always use pit bulls. See, there's a very peculiar relationship between the black man in America and the pit bull. See, the black man in America truly empathizes with the pit bull because the pit bull has a stereotype of characteristics that's due to its breed and its nature. And so years ago, pit bull breeding became a very, very lucrative and powerful thing in the undergrounds of American culture. And understanding how bloodlines work with pit bulls and breeding pit bulls for certain characteristics that will be shown through fighting. See, the black man picked up on this game and became very, very empathetic to it. Because he knows the same game is what was worked on us. What's going on, big brother Kamara? We talking tonight. What's going on, brother Junior? We talking tonight. I want you to know y'all enough, man. I'm going to teach some shit tonight, but I ain't going to keep it deep. I'm just going to put it out there. If you want to pick it up, all you got to do is try. You're going to see it. So when Michael Vick came and experienced this thing, it put a spotlight on the pit bull culture. Anybody that know the pit bull culture, when that Mike Vick shit hit, you knew that it was deeper than just killing a dog. In the game of pit bulls, a dog with a flawed character trait had to be annihilated to get out of that bloodline because they knew how genetics work. It was a science to this. So much and so powerful that in the ghetto near you, there's a young black boy that has a reading level of shit with a yard full of pit bulls, and he know how to breed the fuck out of them. Back there doing DNA science. This is how much we empathize with it. Just yesterday, I'm over there off Park Road. See, I'm going to tell y'all something, man. See, that's why I say, man, understand, man. See, my grandmama and granddaddy, they couldn't read, but they knowed everything, man. They knowed everything that we have forgot. And the thing that they know that we have forgot is the very reason that we're in the position we in right now. Right now. And what they had ain't come by way of reading, man. They had something in the soul. So when I'm chewing on this yesterday, I'm riding out from Park Road. And I see a black dude walking with a pit bull. And it's pulling him. And I'm looking at him. And he make eye contact with me. But he dragged my eyes down to his dog. And he put his chest out. And I say, look at that shit. Dang, I'm chewing on it. Darn, it's giving me a subject matter and a reference to know what the hell I'm talking about. All you got to do is pay attention. So when I'm looking at it, man, I realize, man, I say, look at how the evolutionary work. The evolution, hey, look, the evolution, they say revolutionary. This is some evolutionary shit. It's being worked. It's being worked. So right before our eyes, due to the Michael Vick thing, he put a whole lot of pressure on the pit bull game. For a while, for years, man, people with pit bulls, man, it was the whole thing happening. So here's what happened now. In America, you had these breeders. They started breeding this dog with that dog. They started putting their signs down. And they came up with a dog called the Bully. Now you got a dog that look real mean, but he low to the ground. And he ain't really got no motion. He ain't really good for a goddamn thing, but sitting there looking. And so what they did was, they bred a new dog that looked ferocious like the grandmama and granddaddy pit bull, but they took the nature and the characteristics that was known to be the pit bull, the attack, the one that was like goddamn real tricky if you don't know how it worked. They took that out, and now we got a whole new breed of dog. And people that don't know, they just call all of them pit bulls, but they're two different dogs. They're two different dogs. So what I'm saying, man, that's evolution right before our eyes. We got to realize right now. See, we have evolved from something different than our grandparents. Or did we mutate? So I've been chewing on this thing, man. I've been chewing on this thing, man. I said, well, when did our evolution really begin? When did it get real critical? Because see, you got to understand when to understand to know your position in it. Well, see, once you understand your position in it, then you can see how it's working on you, through you, around you, to really understand. Now, okay, yeah, okay. And when you get how it works and see how it works, now you can understand how to work it and make it work for you. See, if you don't know your children have evolved into something new, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Every programming system has an update. If you ain't knowing how to update the program to realize, man, this is another generation. Look at how they talk about iPhones. Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3. These are generations, man. These are the scales of evolution happening right before us. You can't give birth to 12 children, still work, still cook, still go work for another white lady and raise her kids too. I'm talking to every woman listening to this right here, man. I'm talking to every woman listening to this right now. Because any woman that could be listening to it and can do it, she ain't on Facebook. She blessed if she living. So I'm talking to every woman. You can't do it. And that ain't no bad thing. That ain't a bad thing. I ain't saying that to be a bad thing. But it's a thing that you got to understand and realize. It's a thing that you got to understand and realize. Because when you realize it and you affirm your position in this thing, and you begin to understand how it works from a new position that you ain't never saw before. See, now you understand how, the mother's love have evolved. You can't love your children the same way your mama loves you, because you ain't your mama and your children ain't you. Some things change while most things remain the same. That is true. But there's an evolution that's happening. Can you see it? Or is it a mutation? I was chewing on it the other night. I say, the beginning of integration was the start of our mutation. And I got to thinking, and I said, you know what? We some teenage mutant ninja turtles. Go watch the movie if you need a reference. Integration. Before integration, we all we got. We all we need. No matter what level you was on. Status did not separate us. Our community was one. We all we got. We all we need. Mama, I'm sick. Go see Aunt Sis. Go see Miss Earling. There was a nurse in the community. We all we got. We all we need. Baby, my truck broke. Go down there and holler at Joe. Joe fix cars. We all we got. We all we need. When we integrated, the we became I. And the I said, I can go live the American dream and deem myself worthy of integrating. So as we began to integrate, we began to mutate. That sound deep. But ask around. If you still ask your mama now. If our grandmamas may not be here, but our parents are one of those 9 and 15 children. Ask them when they integrated into the school system. Ask them, did they know any white families that had 8 or more children or 7 or more children? They didn't have children like that. 2 totally different people. See, I'm talking about the we. I'm talking about the me. See how that works? Mother, father, child. I ain't nothing but a turn of the key. I ain't nothing but a turn of the key. You ain't nothing but a turn of the key. If you turn it back, you can go through every door to understand who you are, what you are. See how that works? See how that works? But ask your mama, ask your daddy. They ain't know nobody had. So we started mutating in integration. We started eating with the folk, going to school with the folk, living with the folk. And I ain't saying this to say this is good or bad or right or wrong. Sometimes you got to take your emotions out of things to really understand and see how it works. See, we're talking about evolution if you're just coming on. So when you begin to understand, when we integrated, we started to mutate, we started to change. So we began to eat with them. Not only did we begin to eat with them, we began to eat like them. Just to cut to the chase, we have mutated and evolved into them. So let me help you understand. I'm going to go back to my grandmama's generation. See, we're going to get real now. Zero training. Zero training. Break down real simple. You ain't got to read. Ain't no researching after this. Just close your eyes and think. See, my grandmamas and granddaddies were sharecroppers. All of them come down there from South Carolina. My other granddaddy, he was a brick mason. Right? So you got to understand this generation, man, all lived with no electricity, no lights. Lights is only 60, 70 years old. I done told you this. All they know was to work the fields, cultivate. In between cultivating, they had a good time because they had each other. And they realized that they was all they had, they was all they needed, and they know that they were enough. But when we integrate, so you got to realize we begin to mutate. See, that generation that worked the fields, see, that was a very powerful part to them working the fields in that generation and their parents. See, there's a reason why when we get under the God spell and why the God spell works on us more than it works on anybody. When I'm talking about us on anybody, I'm talking about in America. See, the reason it works on us more than anybody in America, see, you got to understand, see, we are children of the sun. So that's the African in us. We are children of the sun. Because we are children of the sun, see, we don't understand how it works. So they give us stories in the manner of a child. That's why they call us minors in America. See, if you are a minor, you see what I'm saying? When you become a people, you become a minority. But we know a minor is a child, someone who is yet to develop. So they give us stories in the context of being minors about the sun. And because the validity of the story and our relationship is so real that we find all the validation in the story. See how this works? But there's a reason America is the strongest nation on planet Earth. Because in her trial and error of trying to build the new world, she found the key. The people of the sun. Don't make this deep. The people of the sun. The ones who understood the cycle. The ones who understood how it worked. The ones who were genetically conditioned to stand in its power in full race, to stand in its power in full grace, to truly soak in what it is to cultivate the land. Grow and harvest what every man needs to survive. See, that's agriculture. See what this is about. So when they came up with the story about the sun and the people that were made for it, we stayed in it all day, all season. I asked the old man, Mr. Willie Crawford. I said, Mr. Willie Crawford. He said he was one of 16. I said, good God Almighty, Mr. Willie Crawford. I said, I always wanted to ask you this, man. I said, I always hear people your age talk about working in the fields. I said, but what did y'all do in the winter? Made families with 16 children. See how that works? You see how that works? When the sun goes away, we realize we are it. And that's when we love. That's when we hold tight. That's when we truly come together in the midst of the death season with faith and confidence to know that the sun is coming back and it's going to rise again. But see, our grandmamas and granddaddies, they couldn't read, so they wasn't brain fucked into thinking about what's inside a book or what somebody reading. All they knew how it worked, and they know that they had what it takes to make it through the winter Because when it come back, all they was ready to be in it. To get full of it again. But when we integrated, we lost our necessity of understanding what the Son is. So now we've evolved into a people now where they say we're godless. They say, man, we need Jesus more than ever. Man, Jesus needs to come back. But see, we're saying that as minors, and we don't realize what we have evolved to. We have evolved to a sonless people. We don't go outside for shit. You don't cut your grass. These children don't be in the sun. Now, this message could get real subjective because it gets real tricky. See, when I say we've mutated or evolved, and that began and happened at the point of integration. See, there are some that financially can't integrate. So they still be hot in the sun. And they don't have much according to the standards of being blessed. But they're some of the most at peace people with nothing because they still connected to what our grandparents had. See what we done evolved to. See what we done evolved to. See how this works, man. You see how this works. What's wrong with you? My grandmama had, 9 kids. I think 2 of them died. 3 of them died. 13 kids. And she still raised a white woman and man kids. She still was the help. She still was the help. After raising all her children too. When my grandma died, these white people was at her funeral. Giving her praise. For putting something in their souls. That wasn't innately for them. They had that mighty woman's soul put in them that wasn't innately for them. Their mama was a psychiatrist who was into her profession and didn't have time for her children. So her children was cultivated by my grandmama. And it was so powerful that one of those children that was cultivated by my grandmama knew that a black woman being in the house was so powerful that even today, he hired my Uncle wife, Dot, to come do the same thing for his children. So we've evolved into chasing shit while somebody else care for our goddamn children. See what I'm saying, man? I had to cuss on that because that is goddamned. And so we look at our children in the generation and say, man, son, they different. You damn right they different. And you different too. And you different too. I want to talk about some real shit. I'm going to drop some raw shit, man. I'm going to drop some raw shit. Like I told you, I love that dog thing. See, if you pay attention to that dog, man, that dog will treat you and teach you some real things, man. See, it's a reason, man, that they say a dog is a man's best friend, right? But I told you what we've evolved to. See, now we've evolved. I'm talking about the black man right now. We've evolved into the dog man. Now we love the dog. See, we just teenage mutant ninja turtles, though. See how we want to be like him so bad. We have mutated. We have mutated. But all of these ideas come from them walls. Alexa, who is Anubis?
Anubis, also known as Inpo, Inpo, JNPW, or Anpu in ancient Egyptian, is the god of funerary rites, protector of graves, and guide to the underworld. In ancient Egyptian religion, usually depicted as a canine or a man with a canine head. Like many ancient Egyptian deities, Anubis assumed different roles in various contexts.
So that's why infatuation comes by way about the dog. Because all of our God spells and God games come by way of the Egyptian mythology, then the Greek mythology, then the Christian mythology. But we don't understand what mythology is. And we don't understand how to get the point of the story. And we don't have reading comprehension. So we begin to take every goddamn thing in the way of minors. One is yet to be developed. Alexa, what is the meaning of minor?
As an adjective, minor is usually defined as lesser, as in size, extent, or importance, or being or noting the lesser of two. As a noun, minor is usually defined as a person under the legal age of full responsibility. As a verb, minor is usually defined as to choose or study as a secondary academic subject or course. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for minor.
So be careful about being a minority. See how that works. See how that works. So that's where the infatuation comes by way of the dog. He's the one that guides you through the afterlife. He's the one that guides you through the afterlife. And they use a dog head to represent the nature of the dog. So how does this translate into the dog being the man's best friend? See, a tired man needs a guard dog that can protect him while he sleeps. A blind man needs a seeing eye dog that can show him around. A hungry man needs a hunting dog to guide him to the kill. See how this works? But it's all mythology. And anything the white boy comes up with in his mythology, and we take it as minors and we don't understand what it's really about, and we start to romanticizing the stories more than we understand what the story is about. So we become fanatics like children loving the story. I sat on the porch with some Q dogs. I said, man, what's the relevance to the dog? They just put their tongue out. I don't know. So I broke this shit down to them and showed them. I say, it's saying, man, the dog represents the one who guides. So when you're barking, you're saying you're a man's best friend. You are the one who will guide. You are the one who will lead. It's in the nature. And I thought this was so powerful, right? Till I was at work with Miss Faye. Miss Faye, 80 years old, from the country. I came out, I said, Miss Faye, I'm tired than a dog. She said, don't never say that shit no more. I said, why? She said, a dog ain't never been good for shit, but he's sitting around eating and looking. Fuck a dog. That's what Miss Faye told me. She said, you're going to be tired. Say you tired in a mule or a bull. I said, good God. They shook my soul. They shook my soul. Good God Almighty. Because I had realized the infatuation of a black man with a dog is a part of mutation and evolution. My granddaddy told me he was born in 1920. He could drive me over there in Myers Park and show me the tree where he lived at and was born at. And my grandfather comes from a family of carpenters and masons. And my granddaddy say, when I turned 18, you know what my daddy gave me? My daddy gave me my own mule. I say, for real. He said that was like getting a Cadillac. He said, and I started digging out basements with my mule. He said, you know what my mule name was? I said, what? He said, I called him Toad. He said, I love Toad. Toad made me all type of money. I built a sled and went in there and dug, and Toad pulled out basements. I was digging foundations in basements with Toad. So I ain't never gave a damn about no dog. See how that work? You see how that work, man? You see how that work? Yeah, man. We talk about evolution, man. Current events. I don't normally do current events, but I'm going to do one. I watched the news the other day, and they had a damn 6-year-old went to the school, shot the teacher. I say, Jesus, come on back. Hey, look, man. We talk about evolution, man. Anybody else shoot guns and no guns, man? I did a video one time about man muscle. You see my man muscle flex. Every time I close my hand up and down, you're going to see my man muscle flex. You see that? I don't care what gun you got, whether it's a revolver and you got to hit the hammer or you got to click it. In order to make this gun mechanism work, your man muscle got to be developed, man. So when you tell me a 6-year-old, man, evolution real than a mother, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. I was kicking it with my cousin, and he say, evolution is real, Trav, but it all depends on where you live at. Because as much as you can see it in that sense, there's still people that's being real. I say, yeah, them ones, the ones. Because you got to look at it. There's still, the grocery store still filled with vegetables. There's still people that's farming. There's still real people, man, that get out here and do real things. So I ain't saying everybody messed up. There's different kind of people. But in general, man, if you don't understand how it works, man, this is my point. If you don't understand how it works, man, ain't nobody above the bullshit. We all got to go through it to get to it. We all going through the same thing, working to survive and to maintain. Man, ain't nobody above. So if you ain't trying to understand how it works, and it's probably getting worked all on your head, man. You'll see what I'm saying. It's probably getting worked all on your head. So it's always aspects of realness. I ain't saying that to be a good or a bad thing, to say we evolve, whether we evolve forward or backwards. That's according to your understanding. But you got to ask yourself, how have you evolved? If you had a real grandmother, or if you had a real mother and father, if you got a real mother and father, or if you got a mother and father, man, that went through some things, Understand this. We all children that got old. Our mothers and fathers are children that has gotten old. And they are part of a cycle. And they may not have been raised by one of them ones. They may have devoted their life to become one of them ones to raise you. And it may be you in the huddle right now, fighting and striving to be one of them ones to raise your children. See, that's how it works. That's the cycle of it. But you got to know your position. You got to know how it works. It ain't no alternative to this shit, man. It ain't no alternative. You understand what I'm saying? We're going to get out of here with a jam, man. Hey, if you on here, show some love, man. I ain't going to do nothing but show some love back. You know what I mean? That's all I'm going to do is show some love back. Get out of here with this jam tonight, though. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. Only you can make me feel the way I do. Nobody but you, baby. Only you can make me feel the way I do. Nobody but you, baby. Yeah, man, we up out of here, man. Hey, man, I want to leave on this jump right here, man. I was off today, man, and I told my baby, I said, baby, I want something new for the show, man. So at 6 o'clock, I pulled the laptop out and made the beat. Came up with the hook, put a little light mix on it, man. You know what I'm talking about, man? And I mean every word, man. I say, only you can make me feel the way I do, man. I'm talking about nobody but you, man. I'm talking about, man, when I say, man, the most powerful thing that you can pay is your attention. And, man, I value every last one of y'all that pay me some attention so much, man, that, man, I'm living in my purpose. And I'm dropping some of the rawest truth that I can give to my people for free, man. All you got to do is pay me some attention, man. Blow, I love you, man. Blow, I love you, man. Blow said we have evolved backwards, if you ask me. Our ancestors would be disappointed. Hey, Blow. Hey, like you say, Blow, we all we got. We all we need. We one of the ones. We got to make that narrative be alive. Because if you in a room and I'm in a room and the one that's evolved backwards is in the room with me or you, then you better already know they gonna shut the hell up and goddamn look. Hey, look. Yeah, that's how that go right there, Blow. You know what I mean? So each one teach one, man. Grab somebody, man. Put that positive influence on somebody, man. Blow a spell on somebody. Use these words I'm telling you, man. Work this shit every day, man. Being a hero is contagious. It's like being a positive vampire. If you get around me, man, I like to call that shit voodoo. I like to call that shit the Holy Ghost. I like to call it anything that you can call it that associates power and spiritual influence. Because if I blow my spirit in you and on you, I got intentions of making you believe that you are the one and you can win any fight that you fight. And if I'm wrong, then I don't want to be right. Good God Almighty. I love y'all, man. I love y'all. And I'm going to see y'all next Thursday the same way on the same day. Watch what I did.